The whole species value nature system. So where we left off, Adam is the subject and Eve. And this is used to teach about how the sciences teach it, share an identity in sciences. For example, in relationship to how the predicate is positive, inherent and active and progressive positive relationship to itself in English. The discernment of what is true always, noting exceptions. So when a verb is not used as a main verb, then it becomes exception nature. That's an exception to this. And that's in relationship to exception nature. So when a main verb is not used as a main verb, it becomes a participle nature or an infinitive nature. You could say, make the present participle by adding an ing to a verb. Now you make it a noun. If you add the preposition to or another preposition, you could make it you can make it a participle nature. In other words, it can't be the main verb anymore. And it's a nature of identity of value changes. So we have identity of value discernment. See, when they put color with the law and stuff like that, intonation still connected, but criminally re-engineered sciences, they did this for a trick, interculturally, not for racism, because they did it together. Because these are minorities from each country, from tactically involved with criminally re-engineered ancient sciences. Since semi-ancient times, this brought modern nations into this as a criminal enterprise, as criminal insidious natures. So, as the predicate is positive relationship to itself with English, the predicate act with the law in relationship to organized crime, and this one as simultaneously inherently actively and progressively negative value. Positive is negative relationship to itself as temporary positive value nature. In other words, a negative lasting negative value nature as a criminal insidiousness nature caused by nature itself. Same reason we all logically look into why want to figure out and counter things normally about interstate, internation, criminal enterprises, criminal insidiousness natures. Need to cover lies, lie progressions. Need to hide their natures from actual correlation nature. Need to defend fact treatment natures and styles abridged, and that's appreciated by what originally still fluent through nations, keeping as an internation, because correlations in nature, Trinity, maintain criminally foreign influence, specifically to keep each modern nation incapable of countering the cause negative value nature progressions, acts, and natures, like predicate acts, real bad crimes, insidious ones too, and like natures like criminal, like wrongdoers, like associate criminals, wrongdoing too, more and more. Okay, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a police form, I'm not a criminal, but this is why we're talking about how the science is sharing identity. This is in relationship to how the identity of existence / space is simultaneously distinctly and non-distinctly onto itself, because the identity of existence, as the identity of space, it is so distinctly and not distinctly onto itself. In other words, the identity of existence before, then it has the nature of space. So space is inside this. All things boxing. Boxing is ancient. Republic revealed before it was criminally re-engineered. Republic was revealed by nature of sciences, nature internation sciences that once criminally re-engineered and defended at that, they can't defend that themselves invested fact treatments, and us at the same time from what and or being able to stand the protracted correlation nature, protracted truth, proper uses of exceptions, never exception nature, not let it all now, and originally and still. You see, so we have Oz too. Like for example, I have boiling water, so this is gonna be a short one. Thank you. Come again, and we'll talk more about how Adam is the subject and Eve is the verb, and why this is used to teach about identity of value discernment, and how this was is maintained consciously obfuscated, and how this was is maintained motivated through criminal foreign influences that have nothing to do with money. There's a completely a fact treatment nature racket method tied to databases. They knew it would work because once you defend a nature of campus Marseilles that criminally re-engineered, that was revealed as value by values value nature relationship to itself before criminal re-engineering of sciences nations relationship to each other, they knew that that would cause negative value nature progressions, acts and natures that would need to be blamed on other things and not others, not selves, because no one would know how to not know how to explain it, and or not without seeing that they need to hide their own life progressions first, their own natures first, too, even from correlation natures means to discern this. We have offensive physical delusions, worse with people with opinions for online. Still, they're not letting a lot of crime acts reported. Weathersfield police, interbranch leaders retired and standing, switching names, forging names, crimes and cases, switching names, directing for fake news to steal voices at the same time, fake conversations, because they were invested to crime roles with agencies, foreign, domestic, with area with kids, intercampuses through time. You know, CCUSU has a lot of on-off campuses relationships. Trinity College connected to them. Other Connecticut campuses like UConn. Tied to all kinds of psychology corruption. We have to, can't let vote. If you're going to let vote do that, just take them out. In other words, because they're not following the rules. You can't have. They're controlling opinions. They have voting crime methods tied to that. The FBI are recorded. Either they're just too stupid, but they're also recorded. Whereas how they have the most sophisticated one, they're recorded. They know that they have election crime rules. They have influences of opinions. They have crime method rules preventing free speech, like when they stole my speech with Fox CT, WFSB, with their sources, with their police. Let's go. With sex offenders too. That's how I hid and forced sustained the principal sex offender. Then they invested everyone to roles. When they had a PTO meeting, on the emergency meeting, they had the governor come in. Remember, they sustained him with all that stuff. Now it's worse because there's still more since before that and since, because they attached me to fake conversations so they wouldn't get in trouble for roles with that. There, I should use the Phil. I meant Phil. Phil is a name also recorded and confessed, involved with the rest of the child predators, with the school policing, and with the extended family of my neighbors involved with child predators and with the identity thefts, with police forms, foreign and domestic, and with overt criminals, foreign and domestic. Let's go.